Hi, I'm Jan. Welcome to the channel Save Money and More with Jan channel. Tonight seems to be an and more kind of night. Well, usually my Saturday evening chats are. And just for the record, I am recording this on Thursday, July 18th. So a lot can change between the time I make this recording and the time you actually see the show, which would be on Saturday, the following Saturday coming up. Just like last week when I aired, and it was an audio show, my show was about general things that are of great importance. General but specific. I had my viewers fill in the blanks, and for the most part, everyone did. I recorded that show in advance before unfolded events, unexpected, crazy events, events indescribable that I just sat there and remained with my mouth dropping to the floor and with my rosaries at hand close by. I cannot believe certain things. Every time I think I've seen everything, out comes the no, you haven't seen everything yet box with that thing. That's something I don't want to see. That's something I don't want to see. I want to move along again towards hope because within the same week, I'm watching unfolding to me every single night at a wonderful place where people convened and are like minded people. And there goes the bird clock. And people with open minds for positive change. I want to talk a minute about boundary lines. When one is a parent, when one has children, this is the way I feel about it, not only as a parent, but as a former educator, school teacher. We need to have boundary lines. And may I be honest with you, the kids want it. The kids actually want parents that draw the line. Okay. We wanted that. We don't maybe realize that, but we kind of do. Who are we going to look up to? Okay. We can't decide 35-year-old decisions when we're 6 or 7. Okay. And I don't understand some people's styles with permissiveness to do any old thing, any which way. Oh, I'm going to go to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning. Not under my watch when you're 7 years old. No, boundary lines. And that's why routines, healthy routines, are really important. And that's up to the parents or guardians, grandma or other relatives, others taking care of, have to be the bigger person and have to show leadership. Leadership is necessary. It is okay. We need good leadership and we need to draw boundary lines. Another example of you have an adolescent teenager that wants to go on a date. You want to know precisely where, with whom, and I mean, that's the way I would think. That's the way I would think. I have questions. Mom has questions. Okay, knowledge is power and boundary lines. No, you don't get to another time. You don't get to stay up all night or you don't get to wander beyond a certain, area, geographically speaking, on this date. I want to know where you are. And it's okay. That's a good thing. I can't understand how some people have come away from that kind of thinking. I think it's irresponsible. And I don't think it produces good results. All right. Then there are some people, okay, listen carefully. This is one of those fill in the blank moments, okay? Let's compare it to, let's say, a child, for example. They make a humongous mess in their room. The mess it's indescribable. Everything is out of order. Things are on the floor. Things have spilled. Candy wrappers, all the nightmarish stuff you don't want going on in your kid's room, okay? And yet, here's the funny part, okay? After they cleaned it up, they want you to feel so proud. Hey, look at me. Yay, yay, yay. I cleaned up the mess. Yeah, but you also made that mess. You see where I'm going with this. I have an issue with adult leadership, for example, that could be very boastful. Remember, fill in the blanks. Oh, I got this down, these numbers down, and blah, blah, blah. When clearly the person or persons involved made the actual mess. I could more or less understand it a lot more when it comes to a younger person who might have to learn that, yeah, I'm glad you cleaned it up, but yeah, you did make the mess. And yeah, let's prevent it from happening as much as possible. Okay. But I have a big issue trying to condone ridiculousness. It just, to me, as a person, does not make sense. I might also want to add that for me personally, the last, 4 years period of time, whatever you want to call it, period of time, in my honest opinion and in my honest experiences, I have never been as stressed out due to those outside factors. Now, I'm really, really great at knowing the distinction of things and boundary lines and so on and know how to de stress. Thankfully for that. What if I didn't? What if I wasn't the kind of person that knew how to, like decompress, do the good stuff anyway? But honestly, anyone with a little bit of gray matter in between can honestly put a pulse on it. It has been extraordinarily stress filled, in my honest. But I'm just so happy and so glad because I hang on to the positives. That's one of the best things in life. When you're undergoing a lot of stress or you see things that make no sense, just find all the positives at that ongoing moment and work with it. And I see strong evidence of, thankfully, logic coming back into order. It's like reshuffling the deck of cards that has been out of order for a long time. It's been creeping up on people insidiously. And a lot of it has to do with negative information, incorrect information, false information, perhaps, that has been fed to people that are a little bit maybe not thinking enough that it could be beyond what they're hearing. Sometimes we have to do our own legwork. Actually, not sometimes, all the time, to be honest with you. When I hear something or see something that doesn't make sense, I'll never forget Judge Judy. Remember Judge Judy? One day, this is years ago, on one of her shows, she said, if a story doesn't make sense, if she hears a story from someone in her court, if you will, doesn't make sense, it's usually a lie. I never forgot that statement from Judge Judy. She did say this a really long time ago, and it stuck in my head. If a story doesn't make sense when she's trying to hear both sides of the story and it doesn't add up, it's usually a lie. Okay. So where do we go from here? Well, we take a deep breath and a whole bunch of gratitude, a whole bunch of gratitude. May I say it again? A whole bunch of gratitude. Oh, the attitude of gratitude. I am so happy that we are waking up in my honest and hopefully coming to our senses. But, there's always a little bit of a, let's think about it for a minute. Let's take a breath for a minute here. We have to continue on the good path. We have to constantly make thought filled, right decisions. We have to have boundary lines in our own lives to not be okay with things that do not make sense, things that can, at the end of the day, turn into not a great thing in life in general, that can affect yourself and can affect anyone you love, your friends, and your family. But right now, again, if I have to say it almost every Saturday for a while, maybe I will. We cannot take our feet off the gas pedal. I feel this way. Things can change in an instant in one way or another. And that's just the way it is. We just have to continue on the right path, always do the right thing, the things that we have been ordained to do, when that is to do the right thing, to share the good news, to pray. Prayer is necessary. Prayer is not an afterthought. Ever hear the way some people say this? Uh, you know, uh, well, there's nothing else I could do but pray. Huh? Prayer shouldn't be the afterthought or the last resort. All I could do is pray. No, the first thing one should do is pray. Okay? A very smart person, a teacher, on TV, religious teacher, she would say, instead of going to the phone, go to the throne. Makes a ton of sense to me. We tend too much to make phone calls and just like have a venting session. Have a venting session, but have a venting session with the Lord. Have a venting session with the Lord. We need to stay the course. We need to not get complacent. We need to continue discernment. We need to stockpile our groceries because we do not know anything of anything. And that's an ongoing thing. And I don't care who or what is going on around us. Saving our groceries for a rainy day is a good thing. I'm not talking about major league catastrophes, although who knows in this world. But I rather err on the side of caution. Even people with low income can and should even more stockpile. And it breaks my heart every time I hear a story of a person saying they have to skip a meal because they have to decide, will that $20 that I save skipping meals, would that work towards paying their rent on time? This is real life. Some people want to hear it. Some people don't want to hear it. Some people are very far removed from it and they can't relate. I get that. I understand that. But then there are some people who can't understand the way maybe you may be living. Okay. So it's only fair. It's only fair. It's only right. We need to do common sense things. And I'm really, really glad, beyond glad that we are returning to common sense thinking and being okay with it. It doesn't have to be fancy schmancy. I'm not a fancy schmancy person. I'm not an uppity person. That's not me. I'm just saying, I have to speak plainly and directly to the point. Sometimes people would probably prefer me toning down, my, you know, very straightforward manner. But that wouldn't be me. That would be somebody else that looks like me pretending to be someone else. See where I'm going with that? Can't do that. I have to be my own genuine self. And I ask every one of you to do the same. So keep our priorities in order. Keep the boundary lines going. And sometimes we have to say no to our loved ones. Sometimes we just have to do it for their own good. Have an amazing evening. Thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate every single one of you. And of course, I'm going to disable the comments. Take good care now. Bye-bye.